Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm delighted to welcome you to this webinar titled Distant and Hybrid Education Models in Higher Education, Ensuring and Enhancing its Quality. My name is Mustafa Caner. I'm an Associate Professor at Akdeniz University Education Faculty. I also contribute to Hazar University as a member of Research Center for International and Global Higher Education. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated a transformation that was already underway. Distant and hybrid education are no longer peripheral or emergency responses. They are becoming foundational to how higher education functions globally. But this shift comes with a core question. How do we ensure academic quality in these digitally mediated environments? That's what we will explore today. Let's start by clarifying some key terms. Distant education, for example. Distance education refers to fully online learning where teachers and students are separated by space and time. It's largely asynchronous, but can also include synchronous elements like video conferencing. Since it's online learning environment, distant education use learning management systems, some video platforms, also some digital assessment tools for students' exams. The best side of distant education is its flexibility. It provides a flexible teaching and learning environment for students. On the other hand, it has some cons as well, because it may cause student isolation, since students do not have friends as in face-to-face learning environments. Also, equity concerns have seen in distant education, because not everyone could access the same instruments, same tools for their learning. Hybrid learning, on the other hand, combines online and face-to-face instruction in an integrated way, ideally taking the best of both worlds. The hybrid education, hybrid learning, is also called blended learning in some sources. It blends the strengths of both face-to-face and online learning environments. It provides active learning environment as well. But it also requires careful integration and some technical access in teaching distance. By the way, talking a bit about the history of distance education would be contributive to our understanding of today's issue. Let's take a moment and reflect on how distant education has evolved over time, particularly the shift from traditional face-to-face instruction to various forms of distant education. It starts with correspondence education, which is distant education method used especially in the days before the internet and digital technologies were widespread. The journey of distant education begins with correspondence education, and it is the earliest forms of distant learning. In this model, printed course materials were physically mailed to the learners. Though limited in interactivity, it allowed students to study regardless of location and marking the first major step toward flexibility in education. The next step was the radio and television, which introduced one-way communication into the classroom. Educational content could now be broadcast widely, overcoming geographical barriers but still lacking interaction. As an educational tool, radio especially used to reach masses, and especially it was used in agricultural education, health and social awareness programs. But it's purely audio-based medium. It lacks visual elements and limiting the learning experiences of the learner. Since it's a one-way communication medium, opportunities for interaction and feedback with students were very limited in the radio-based education. Then the use of TV and film was introduced in the distant education. Television and movies provide the advantage of presenting educational material visually and orally. They are used in distant education, open education programs, and as a complement to formal education. This visual and auditory narrative feature plays an important role, especially in attracting students' attention and conveying information more effectively. By the 70s, we entered the era of computer-assisted education, or CALL. This phase brought technological tools like printers, scanners, projectors into education, computers as well. While still supplementary to face-to-face learning, these tools paved the way for more dynamic and interactive lessons. Then came the internet and digital platforms. These tools fundamentally transformed learning by supporting both synchronous and asynchronous education. Learning management platforms like Moodle or Canva, video conferencing tools, and collaborative apps become central to how students and educators interact by means of computer-assisted instruction. Finally, we are today now entering the age of metaverse and new technologies. These innovations, including virtual and augmented reality, are reshaping immersive learning. Through simulations, 3D environments, and virtual classrooms, we can replicate complex experiences that go far beyond the limitation of physical classroom. This progression shows that distance education has never been static. It has continuously adapted in response to technical, social, and pedagogical shifts. As educators, it's crucial for us to understand this trajectory in order to appreciate where we are now and where we might be going next. As distance education goes to expand globally, it's important to understand that what makes it both viable and appealing to a wide range of learners. Perhaps the most powerful advantage is the ability to participate in the educational process from anywhere in the world. It allows global participation. Students can join from anywhere without any geographical barriers. Secondly, it provides more objective and valid assessments. Thanks to digital tools, assessments can be done much better in the distance education models as well. Third, content can be easily updated by teachers and even co-developed with learners. And distance learning also removes time and place barriers, which I mentioned before, giving students flexibility. It encourages voluntary participation, which often leads to deeper engagement. And importantly, students can pause and re-watch lessons, which support better understanding and retention. Together, these features make distance education not just convenient, but also powerful and learner-centered. To understand how quality can be preserved or enhanced, we need to revisit some theoretical foundation of distance education concept. One key model was the Moore's theory of transactional distance, which highlights that structure, dialogue, and learner autonomy determine the effectiveness of distance learning. In addition, constructivist and connectivist theories reminded us that distance learning is most effective when it fosters interaction, community, and learner agency, not just content of delivery. And the core principle is intentional design, replication of face-to-face instruction. But moving online brings significant challenges. How do we move beyond passive lectures to engaging pedagogies in distance education? How do we ensure all students, regardless of their background, have access to tools and skills they need? How do we support faculty and redesign assessment to maintain academic integrity? The significant challenge we face in ensuring quality, particularly in the evolving landscape of education and distance learning. The challenge here is not just about adopting new tools, but fundamentally rethinking how we teach and how our students learn. This involves designing curricula, instructional methods that are not only innovative, but also cohesive across different platforms and different modalities. We need to ensure that the learning experience is seamless, effective, and truly benefit the learner regardless of the format. Equity and digital access is one of the challenges. In an increasingly digital world, Access to technology and the internet is no longer a luxury but a necessity for quality education. However, significant disparities in digital access, both in terms of reliable internet connectivity and access to appropriate devices, is seen in today's learners. Another challenge is student engagement and community building. In any learning environment, but particularly in distant and hybrid setting, keeping students engaged and fostering a sense of community can be incredibly challenging. The ability of institutions to adapt new demands and preparedness of instructors to navigate these changes are very important. This involves not only investigating the necessary technological infrastructures, but also providing robust professional development and ongoing support for educators. As you can see, there are five main challenges: pedagogical redesign, equity and digital access, student engagement, institutional capacity, and assessment integrity are interconnected and collectively impact overall quality of our distant and hybrid educational attempts. Understanding these challenges is the first step toward developing effective strategies to overcome these challenges. To address these challenges or issues, I'll share 7 interlinked strategies that institutions can adopt to maintain and even enhance quality in distant and hybrid modes. These are rigorous course design, enhanced faculty development, meaningful student engagement, authentic assessment, student support service, continuous evaluation, and institutional commitment, which we will talk about. In order to enhance the quality of distant and hybrid education, we should start with course design, because quality begins at the planning stage. We should design our courses a bit backwards. We should start with learning outcomes, then align the content, tools, and assessments according to our learning outcomes. Frameworks like Quality Matters and Universal Design for Learning help ensure accessibility and coherence. A suggestion here might be good: do not replicate classroom lectures online, but use modality intentionally. And if you want to reduce cognitive overload, you can use multimodal content in your instructions. If you want to enhance the quality of distant and hybrid education, as for institutions, we should support the faculty, teachers, and instructors. Because teaching online is not just about knowing Zoom or other video conferencing systems. It requires rethinking how we facilitate learning, how we assess progress, student progress, and how we build community. Institutions should provide instructional design support, mentoring, and professional recognition for digital teaching excellence for teachers. Just beyond learning management system training, the teachers should be acknowledged on pedagogical transformation from face-to-face to online learning environments. Also, institutions should provide instructional design support for teachers who are not able to create new classrooms. A community of practice might be also very useful, because in such communities, experienced ones can share their experiences on online, distant, and hybrid education. But what is more important is recognition of what they do, what teachers do in online and hybrid education environment, and also workload policies. Because creating and giving lectures in online, in distant, in blended learning, or in hybrid learning environment uh, gives great workload for teachers. The third concern is student engagement in hybrid and distant education, or online environment in any case. Online students can easily feel isolated. We must create structured opportunities for interaction, both asynchronous, like forums or peer reviews, and synchronous, like live discussions, breakout rooms, or collaborative tools. And also, we can provide our students some gamification activities, adaptive platforms, and reflective tasks that can deepen engagement. Another concern is the assessment, especially authentic assessment, because we need to move beyond high stakes and easily plagiarized exams in online and hybrid environments. We should ask our students to do some authentic tasks, such as portfolios, simulations, oral exams in Zoom, for example, or open book exams, uh, which better assess learning while reduce misconduct. And don't forget, formative feedback. It's vital for guiding learning, especially when students are self-directed. Another concern for the institutions which give distant education courses is student support services. We must provide not only technical help, but also academic and mental health services as well. Distant education learners need access to libraries, advisors, writing centers, their teachers, and counseling, but all in digital formats. So beyond this, maybe another important concern is providing orientation for online learning, distant education, and hybrid education. If we provide orientation modules, they can help prepare our students for success in hybrid environments. Another concern to enhance the quality of distant education is improvement, especially continuous improvement. The institutions should use different data, not just end of semester surveys, but there are some other tools as well. For example, learning management system analytics can be used uh, to better our courses. Mid-semester feedback, peer reviews can also help refine courses iteratively. And always close the loop, which means let students and faculty see how their input is used to make things better. Just show them that if they demand something, you do it. Of course, institutional commitment is a must to improve quality of distant education. This means investigating in infrastructure from learning management system platforms to cloud storage. It includes many different things. And it also means clear policies on IP, accessibility, faculty workload, and data privacy. Crucially, equity must be core value in distant education institutions. Addressing device access, connectivity, and culturally responsive pedagogy is a must in distant education platforms. In sum, maintaining quality in distant education or hybrid education means rethinking what quality actually is. It's no longer about seat time or lecture length. It's about designing for engagement, feedback, and learning outcomes in environments that are flexible yet rigorous, inclusive yet demanding. So, do not replicate face-to-face courses in online environments. Quality means pedagogical integrity, technological adaptability, and institutional commitment. So, collaboration across institutions, industry, and policymakers are very important. Do not forget that outcomes are beyond the grades. Autonomy, digital literacy, collaboration are important aspects that we should develop in our students. As for implications, or to move forward, institutions should support faculty professionally, redesign assessments for integrity and authenticity, integrate quality assurance from the beginning, invest in faculty development, build inclusive, accessible infrastructure, and align governance structures with quality frameworks. A final word for today, maybe. The post-pandemic era is not time to revert, but to reconstruct. We have the tools, we have the knowledge, and now the momentum. Let's build learning ecosystems that are not only digital, but also human, inclusive, and adaptable. Thank you once again for joining. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll be very happy to share the slides and additional resources. You can find my email address at the end of this presentation. Thank you very much and hope to see you again.